Just another brother with another humble question. Just another brother with another humble question.
Welcome to another episode of A Brother with Questions. I am your host, B. Period. I appreciate y'all for joining me. Let's see, we're going to dive right in, man. On today's episode, we're going to react to a video of Roland Martin. You see it's all over the background there. He is interviewing the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. Her name is Tiffany Hinyard. She has been in the news a lot lately because they say she is misappropriating the funds within her particular township, city. Well, I think it's a small city. I don't know if it's not a big city, but from what I understand, but her little city that she's mayor of, they say she is misappropriating funds. They accused her of having a security detail that rivals the president. When you look at the amount of money she's spending on security, being that I believe they say there's about 20,000 people in her particular town, but she spends several. I think they say she spends a few $1,000s a month on security, and so they got her for that. The town in and of itself, they say she takes elaborate trips that are being paid for on the town. She flies first class. She stays only in the best hotels. They also say that she has a foundation that is misappropriating funds as well. And so the state has come in and basically told them to stop accepting money for the foundation that bears her name. And so just a lot of issues going on with the mayor of Dalton here. But I bring up the video for two reasons. One, I'm looking at Roland Martin. And Roland Martin prides himself on being on the pulse of what's happening in the Black community. And then just watching his videos, he certainly is paying attention to what's going on in the Black community. Roland Martin is a staunch Democrat, I would say. When I think about Roland Martin, I think about Sean Hannity. And I believe Roland Martin is for Democrats as what Sean Hannity is for Republicans. That's how I see Roland Martin. You might disagree, but that's how I see him. And so one of the things that I always note about him is when there are conservatives, Black conservatives, that are saying something about Black people, about or not saying anything about Black what Republicans in general are doing in individual states, and then obviously sometimes across the country. From a national standpoint, from a local standpoint, he certainly hammers them with all the receipts, and it's up to them to defend every single thing that is attached to Republican. And so listening to this interview that he's doing with Tiffany Hinyard, it shocked me to see that he wasn't calling her out in the middle of his interview. He essentially just let her talk and did not check or fact check anything that she says. And then what was interesting to me is that when you went to the comments, everybody was like, "Ro, what are you doing? Like, you ain't gonna check her on some of this stuff?" Like, and then it was crazy because the next day he went back and then he did a fact check video about everything that she was saying. And in his fact check video, he clearly showed that she was not being, we won't call her a liar. We say she wasn't telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But in the moment, he let her ride. And then after the fact, he was sending emails, and now he's expecting her to respond honestly. So it was disappointing in the sense that, and you might say, well, he's not being favorites. He's not showing favoritism here, but I mean, what else do you describe it? Because had Tiffany Hinyard been a Republican black mayor, and had she been doing or been accused of some of the things that she's been accused of, I have no doubt that for every word that she said, Roland Martin would have had a rebuttal with receipts for everything that she said in the moment. But again, I know Tiffany Hinyard's a Democratic mayor, and so he gave her space to just be free. And then later on, he wanted to, outside of her presence, he decided to fact check her. So it was just disappointing. But let's check out. He did a whole interview. They did like 45 minutes. I'm not gonna do the whole 45 minutes, but we're gonna check out the part where she talked about one of the key things is her foundation. So let's listen to her talk about the foundation. So he asked her a question about whether or not she had a foundation, and here was her response.
So I want to set the record straight. I don't have a foundation. I am a supporter of anybody that's struggling with cancer. My mom had breast cancer, and I'm always push anybody that has that. If someone uses my name to push their charity, or if you say this is Tiffany t-shirt, people gonna buy it. Because right now I'm considered what? Clickbait. People make money off of my name by views. So you just say my name.
You say you don't have a foundation.
I do not. And that's why I tell everybody, go do your research. I'm not on anything.
So there it is. She says she don't have no foundation. Now, fact checking. So number one, this video was done within the last 2 weeks, right? There are videos from a few years ago that are online that show her in a city council meeting talking about the foundation that she has with her name and the bill that she's sponsoring, and and she talked about the reasons why she started the foundation. She talks about her mother apparently experienced breast cancer, and so she saw the pain and the struggle that her mother went through during the treatments and so forth, and so she wanted to help people going through that same thing. And so the foundation is meant to basically create a bill, or is advocating for a bill to give people suffering from cancer $10,000 to help with whatever expenses they may need as they go through their treatment process. So, but again, Ro, like you are this dog. You know what I'm saying? One of the reasons that frustrates me in watching him sometimes is when he has a Republican that comes on, he now makes them the sole person responsible for every Republican thing that has ever happened. Every Republican responsive bill, they become the sole person responsible for that. They become the sole person that is obviously advocating for every single thing that every single Republican is doing across the entire United States. But yet you let her come on here and she gives you this response and you have nothing to say in response to her. But we'll keep listening.
So when we see all of this back and forth, when we see this going back and forth, have you, and I've seen this happen before with school districts, I've seen this happen before with city councils, have you called in the state to come mediate?
Did I call in the state?
Have you reached out to the state to come in and mediate what's going on here? So I've seen school boards where you have lots of drama, and Texas Education Agency, comes in and deals with that. You're having these issues there. Have you reached out to state lawmakers? Have you reached out to state representatives, senators to say, hey, how can we resolve these issues? Because if they're not paying bills, if legal fees are piling up, that's just...
So again, no response. He's moved on to another thing. Because one of the other issues that she says is their town is running a deficit, and the deficit is because the trustees of the town don't pay bills. They're spending money on legal bills to sue her, but they're not paying the city's bills. So again, in the moment, nothing to say. But then let me show you something. So here's the next day, and the next day he goes and he does this video.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. So she said in the interview that the foundation was not hers. This is from a council meeting.
I'm doing, and I'm really, really big on, that's dear to my heart, is I'm real big on a cancer foundation. I have created Tiffany Hinyard Cares Foundation, and what that entails is helping everybody within the 17 municipalities with services, such as well services and resources, such as if you need help paying for chemo, radiation, your medicine, your wigs, your prosthetic, your breasts, things of that nature, even helping you with housing. Because I know firsthand how that feels to just not have help when my mom had breast cancer. So I want to make sure that I put that out there to the public and to everybody, that it goes to any 17 municipality. You cannot live in Chicago to benefit from this foundation. It's strictly for people that live in the 17 communities. We are doing a cancer walk October 4th, and how this room was filled. I will hope you guys will come out for that cause. We will start right at Food for Less parking lot. We will walk west, going across the Unity Bridge, and we will walk 15 miles.
So see this video. So you telling me the day that you did the interview, Roland Martin, that you didn't have access to the video? Because this is not a new video. This is an old video. This video is about 2-3 years old at this point. And so it's like, what are we doing? Like I'm not. I saw some people talking about this, and they basically were trying to advocate that Roland Martin is this hack, if you will, that doesn't really know what he's doing. But I'm not going to disrespect Roland Martin like that. Roland Martin has been doing news probably 30 years. And that might be, I still may not be giving his flowers correctly, but it's certainly been at least 30 years. He's been a reporter, a journalist the whole time, so he clearly knows how to do journalism. And again, I've seen him when he brings a guest on that he knows he doesn't agree with. I know that he has every single receipt prepared for every single thing that he expects them to say. He has a rebuttal, a quote unquote fact to dispute whatever he thinks they're about to say. And so, is he being biased because this Tiffany Hinyard is a Black Democratic woman? And so because she's a Black Democratic woman, she didn't want to call her out to her face. Is that what's going on here? And so he waits until she's gone to do the call out video. I'm just wondering what was going on here, because I don't know if Tiffany Hinyard is a shady mayor. Let's say that, right? I don't know. I do know that when you are the mayor of a town of 20,000 people, and as mayor, you get paid $50,000. And then you are what they call a supervisor of another 17 municipalities. And in that particular position, you get $200 and some odd $1,000. And then when you say, if asked, if these are full-time positions, and you say no, I'm wondering, why does anybody who is doing part-time jobs, why one of those jobs pays you $200,000? Now, she went on to explain that in one of those positions she was appointed, and that's what the predecessor made. Okay, so it sounds like your predecessor too was shady, but but it doesn't change the fact that now that you took that position, you want to tell me you're all about the people, but it sounds like you're doing some shady stuff too. And again, it just doesn't add up. It just doesn't add up. But I'm gonna finish letting Roland finally do his fact check on Miss Tiffany Hinyard here.
Anybody that's up for the challenge or that feel they can make it, please show up. You can walk, ride, or drive. And yes, we got bikes, We have motorcycle clubs. We have all kinds of people that is joining us in this movement because you never know when you need this resource as well. So always be about the cause. Last but not least, even though I know we got another meeting, the kids' Halloween dance party will be Sunday, October.
So now I'm confused. In that video, in a council meeting, and I'm about to play the intro again, Mayor Hinyard says, I have created a foundation. Press play.
Doing and I'm really, really big.
We're going to skip ahead here just a second. I'm going to go back to his receipts here. Let's go to his finally. He reveals his receipts of what he looked up.
Now, when I asked her about this, she said, someone made up a foundation. Okay, someone. Here's the problem. The registered agent of the foundation is a Keith Freeman. Keith Freeman works for the city of Dalton. If you look at the boards of the directors, there are 5 people. Kamal Woods, Pamela Earhart, Carmen Carlisle, William Moore, Cheryl Schranz, Schranz. Earlier today, I sent emails to Carmen Carlisle, who is listed as an assistant to Mayor Hinyard for the city of Dalton. I sent an email to William Moore, who's listed as head of housing for the city of Dalton. So now I'm confused. Then I pulled additional information. Cheryl Schranz apparently is a vendor of the city of Dalton, and she has the tow yard contract for the city of Dalton. Again, this is where I'm confused. So
we're going to start right there. So you're telling me, Mr. Martin, number one, I know that you could have accessed all this information on the day of the interview so that when she was in your presence, you could have asked her specifically about the fact that everybody associated with the foundation that, according to her, has nothing to do with her, is either employed by the city of Dalton, close employees, right? One of them is her assistant, or has contracts with the city. And so when you heard her when she was talking about it, she made it seem like, oh, I have no idea. People, I'm a popular person, and so people just attach my name to stuff. But I'm having my lawyers look into who would do that. You don't need to ask the lawyers, baby. Just ask your assistant why he started the foundation in your name. Come on, man. Like, again, I'm not saying that Tiffany Hinyard is a liar. I'm just saying that she don't tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth all the time. And what's disappointing about the video this time with Mr. Roland Martin is like, why you pull out these receipts when she was here? Because if you go on in that particular video, he goes on, like he said, he emailed all these people. Of course, some of them responded, some of them didn't respond. But in responding, they didn't answer any of his questions. right? And so he even reached back out to Tiffany Hinyard with this information. Of course, she didn't respond to his questions. And so it's like, so ultimately, she got to come on the platform. She got to say the things that she wanted to say. And she said it unchecked because she spoke. He asked the question. She answered the question. He moved on to his next question. No pushback, no anything. And then a day later, you come back and now you got all the receipts. It's like, come on, man. That's what you're supposed to have the day she was there. It was so disappointing, only from the standpoint that I know I've seen plenty of videos where Roland Martin will fact check a guest that he brought on the interview to hear their side of the story. And yet she comes on and nothing. Just question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. It's, I'm not going to say Roland Martin is a Democratic plant. I certainly know he's never found, I don't think he's ever found a Republican he agreed with, but I don't know if he's a Democratic plant, but it's this particular interview serves as my confirmation when I say, to me, he's two Democrats, what Sean Hannity is for Republicans. That video and the way that he let her talk without checking her and then come back a day later and now you got all the receipts and now you want to, I don't know, she ain't coming back. She ain't coming back to answer the tough questions. That's why she did the first interview, because she knew it would be softball. She knew she'd be able to go on there and simply tell her narrative. And then you come back and you check this charity out and it bears her name. In previous interviews, she's called it hers, but she is right. Her name is nowhere on there, but everybody that is on there is a part of her friend circle. Everybody on there is a part of her friend circle. So I guess when her lawyer goes and finds out what's going on, she gonna find out all her friends started a foundation, and she ain't had no idea that all her friends had started her foundation. Really, you ain't know your friends started a foundation. Come on, man. It just, it's disappointing to watch him kowtow. That's what I'm gonna call it, to a particular individual, simply because what? The only thing I can explain, the only way it makes sense to me, is because she's black, a woman, and a Democrat. Because that's like the golden ticket right now, right? Black women are saving the Democratic Party, right? And so now we got this black woman Democrat who's the mayor of this small town, and she's catching all this flack for all these things that she's doing. And my God, of course she's unreproached, right? They're only attacking her because she's a black woman, right? It couldn't be that she's doing some things that are questionable, right? It couldn't be. I mean, come on, right? Mayor, small town, 20,000 people, but flies first class and stays in the best hotels in the country when she travels. 20,000 people? That's what we doing? I live in a small town myself. I can't imagine. I hope our mayor doesn't travel first class and stays in the best hotels when she travels. I mean, come on, man. It's a small town. You got half your residents don't even, are probably struggling to pay bills. But every time you move in a small town, you got the best hotels in first class. Come on, man. What's your travel budget? A couple $100,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $1 million a year? So I don't know. It was just disappointing to see, disappointing to watch the way he handled that particular interview. And like I said, if there was ever any evidence of his bias towards Democrats, I believe that interview is all the evidence you need. And I just want balance. That's all. I just want balance. Give her the same smoke that you give other people, because it's Democratic mayors like herself, Democratic councilmen, Democratic congressmen who are also not serving the people well, that are getting away with it simply because they were the Democratic band. And how dare black man, black folk not vote for this party? Because clearly we know that the other party's racist.